I, F21, don't know how to get over my husband, M21, comments. I, F21, and my husband, M21, got into a fight a couple days ago. We have a 4-month-old baby girl. I go to school full-time while my husband stays home with her because he's on baby leave. He gets 3 months because he's in the military. That morning I was running late because I take care of our daughter in the mornings while I myself also get ready for the day. My husband tends to stay up late playing games on his phone, so I let him sleep in while I wake up at 4 a.m. every day to get the house clean, feed and take care of our daughter. I had asked my husband if he could please hurry up so I could get a parking spot for school and so I wouldn't be late. He then yelled at me and told me that what I do isn't as hard as what he does. And that hurt a lot, and I'm not sure how to get over his comment because, like I said, I get up at 4 a.m. to make sure he doesn't have to really do anything around the house and take care of our daughter when she wakes up so he can sleep in. And after being at school all day and getting home close to 7 p.m. he basically throws our daughter at me and asks me what I'm going to for make dinner. I feel extremely hurt by his words because I get no downtime to relax while he gets the mornings and the nights because I do bedtime routine with our baby after making dinner for us. So I guess I'm asking if anyone has any ideas on how I can get over his comment and be so hurt by his words. Screw the comment, sis. What about his behavior? He's using his baby leave to act like a teenager with no responsibilities. When his leave is over, it should be interesting to see how late he stays up wasting time on his phone. I'm going to bet you'll have even more things to do. Maybe leave him home all day with the baby and get him to do all the chores that day too so he can see how hard it actually is. You're going to school full-time and doing all the housework, cleaning, and cooking, plus getting up at 4 a.m. to do the morning baby stuff and doing the nighttime baby routine? For the love of all that's holy, what does your husband do all day except change diapers and give a bottle every couple of hours? When do you find time for homework? His words were mean, dismissive and insulting, but his behavior is even worse. You're carrying the whole load and then some. Stop being his mother. Stop doing it all. Let him be responsible for things. That's how you get over it. You ignore him, the same way you ignore the advice and suggestions in this post and the previous one. Your husband cheated while you were pregnant and treats you like shit. People have repeatedly told you to leave. If you're not going to take anyone's advice and defend how great your life is, then why are you here? I'm 32F. Thinking about leaving my husband, 37M. Do you think I'd be doing the right thing? We've been together for 13 years and married for 7 years. We don't have any children. He has supported me through the darkest days and been my cheerleader and encouraged me to take opportunities in my career that have taken me a lot further than I ever expected. There are a few things behind why I'm questioning my ability to be in this marriage for the rest of my life, and that I'm wondering if I might be better off by myself. There is no intimacy in our marriage, and there hasn't been for around 5 years. There is some affection but no intimacy. I've tried bringing it up many times to get some answers on why this might be, but he just shuts down and won't say anything. He is opposed to any form of therapy, whether individually or as a couple. I brought it up many times. He would rather I go and seek intimacy outside of our marriage than be intimate with me. I have not done this and I'm not looking to, but felt necessary to add it as context because it was his suggestion around a year ago when I brought it up at the time. In the first few years I regularly tried to initiate, tried numerous things to change things up and open the door, but I was always rejected, so I stopped trying around 2 years ago. I am not making this political. Around when COVID started he became more extreme, leaning on his chosen side of the political spectrum. Concerningly so. We were never 100% on the same page politically, but we were a lot more similar-minded. Now he is quite hateful toward people and the world. But it concerns me regarding the future when having children. His views regarding child raising have changed and don't align with my views anymore, and I question putting myself in that situation. His views when it comes to women have changed. I also started earning more than him about 6 months ago, and it has been downhill in terms of attitude towards women since then. I do have a comfortable life. We live in a nice house and earn a comfortable living. We travel often. I seriously question if ending the marriage is the best decision because I feel somewhat pathetic for wanting to end things for the reasons above. But it's been weighing on me for a long time, and I need the views of people who don't know either of us. You're young, you don't have kids, your husband would prefer you slept around than have sex with you. That's enough reason to divorce before you even get to the political stuff and his hateful attitude. Don't waste any more of your time here. You're young enough to build a new life. A person who barely shows you affection and is unwilling to work on the relationship in therapy. He's given you his answer. Do not fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Move on and find someone who values you enough to try. Yeah, you've given it your all and tried all there is to try. Cut your losses now, grieve the marriage and move on. It's your relationship, so I can't really tell you if it's right or okay. Here's the things I'd want you to think about. Is life better with him than alone? Where do you see yourself in 5 years with him? In 5 years if you're alone? Is your thought that you'll date again? Or focus on yourself? Have you had the hard conversation with him and not allowed him to sidestep or divert? Are you safe with him? Do you need to take steps to protect yourself? I think if you work through these questions you'll arrive at an answer that works for you. I know this must be a deeply painful situation. And I read between the lines that you have talked yourself into feeling, or gotten messages from people around you that you should feel, like these aren't good enough reasons to end a marriage. They are. They absolutely are. Any one of them alone would be. I would leave a marriage based on what you've shared, and I would advise a friend to as well. Full disclosure, I am married and value the concept of marriage reverently. But it has to be valuable and healthy for both people. Marriage is not positive just for the sake of it, nor nearly for the sake of being in one. Leaving an unhealthy or even unsatisfying marriage is not failure. It is wisdom. We get one life only. Praise the Lord you don't have kids together. Don't let this go on any longer. You'll both, eventually, be so much happier apart finding someone who is head over heels for you the way this man obviously isn't. It's okay that something that worked when you were 19 isn't working at 32. You're a whole different human now. I wish you luck and love through the process. Coming from a mama that had no intimacy, other than a couple times a year, in her first marriage and now happily wed and bedded regularly. I 19F don't want kids but my boyfriend 19M does. I, 19F and my boyfriend, 19M have been dating for 3 years. As we're pretty young the topic of kids hasn't came up much. I'm in college for engineering and he works full-time. More recently, he's been saying how he wants kids. In the past over small talk I've certainly mentioned not wanting to have kids. But it seems he's already made up his mind that he wants kids, especially his own, not adopted. I don't think this is something that I'll ever change my mind on. I've said this since I was a little girl that I do not want children. How do I bring this up without directly breaking up in that moment? I'm seeking advice on whether it's too early for this. I really don't want to. We've been dating for a while and have known each other's our whole lives. It would just really suck to split because of the fact I don't want kids. I hate myself because of it but I have no interest in raising kids because of my goals and ambitions. IDK what to do loudly crying. I'm really sorry but this is a non-negotiable. There is no compromise here. So yeah, if you're both sure, then it's the end of your relationship. If he's set on kids and you're set against, love won't change biology. It's time to break it off. You both have different wants, and it seems you will only make each other miserable if one or the other makes concessions. You both are still very young, this is the time to date and find your person. Appreciate the time you had together, learn from it, and move on. You not breaking up is prolonging the inevitable. You don't want kids, he does. Neither one of you should have to negotiate or compromise on this, it will only harbor resentment down the line. Don't hate yourself for not wanting kids. There is no shame in that. If this breaks you guys up, that's okay too. You both deserve the best life that each of you want. Yes, it will hurt and you'll need to heal, but it's so much easier to do that when you can say it was a good relationship that wasn't meant to be. You get to leave respecting each other's values and what they bring. Heartbreak yes, but not because of resentment. I knew I didn't want kids since a very early age, like forever. I'm over 40 now. If you know, you know, and I don't really think there's a way around it if he for sure does. Every guy I've seriously dated has been on board for no kids. You're young. Figure out who you are alone after you part ways. Maybe now, maybe in a year or two, because you know there's no compromise between kids and no kids. My 42F fiancé, 40M, makes me feel masculine. We've been together for 5 years. At first, maybe I didn't notice the lack of courtesy but as the years tick by it's glaringly obvious. He is more on the natural side of life, think carnivore, organic everything, no doctors because the body will heal itself and no soy, seed oils. When we met, was living and working in Beverly Hills. There is a definite beauty standard to uphold, hair, lashes, nails, clothing. We have since moved across the country and I am no longer living that lifestyle. To be honest, I needed a break. I've adapted to his lifestyle over the years but I feel like I'm missing a part of me. I buy my clothes at Target now, absolutely nothing wrong with this. I've given up hair and nail salons. He says too many chemical and I can understand that, and no dinners out, diet restrictions. In making these changes, I feel as though I've lost my femininity. On top of this the everyday courtesy is gone. No opening doors, making sure I carry pepper spray, worried about my personal safety, no flowers or trips to museums. One of my favorite pastimes. I guess I need clarity. I need to know if asking too much or have my years of adapting and reevaluating my priorities left me needy? You didn't lose your femininity, you lost yourself. Instead of growing together, you just conformed to what he likes and wants. He also sounds like he's gotten complacent in your relationship. Are you doing these things because you want to or because he wants you to? I.e. shopping at Target, opting out of nails and hair salons. Also, have you talked to him about the other part, not feeling appreciated? What is his reply? You say he's not visiting doctors etc. Does he compromise on other things for your sake, or is it only you that have to adapt to him? Why did you make all of these changes? And why can't you change back? You don't have to stop getting your hair done because your fiancé is a weirdo who doesn't believe in science or medicine. I sure as hell hope you haven't adopted his zero doctor policy for yourself and are at least getting your mammograms and paps so you can outlive the idiot. It sounds like you've lost yourself, which happens to be feminine. What would happen if you pushed back on these changes he wanted you to make? Is he controlling, or did you go along with it because it was the path of least resistance? Does he treat you well, overall? It doesn't sound like it, based on what you've written, but it's hard to tell. Does he care that adopting his lifestyle has made you feel lost, or is he happy because his needs are met? I mean, you changed everything you liked for him and did whatever he wanted. Technically, that's a pretty traditional feminine role, to do whatever your husband says. I think you lost yourself. Rebel, go get your nails did. Body modifications and consumerism does not a woman make. Still, those sounds like you need some self-care rituals.